It becomes like this little like fragment of time, right? Like of you being here, me being here. All right. Mount Shasta.
Hindu tablets. Over 1 million years ago, the Earth was ruled by two very advanced civilizations, the Atlanteans and the Lemurians, and both cultures had technology that far exceeds our own. Atlantis was the dominant culture, and for many years it was benevolent. But about 25,000 years ago, Atlantis became corrupt and wanted to rule.
I do believe that there were very advanced civilizations before us.
Wow.
I know there were. And I think the technology we have now is just a fraction of what they have and what I think the US government has. Like you know, the secret goodies they got since like the past 80 years from the crash. Oh, dude.
Roswell, right? Area 51 potentially.
They're just the known ones. There's so many more. Globally, there's so many. So let's get back into it.
All people on the Earth. Lemurians rejected this idea and wanted to be left alone. And after much internal conflict, Atlantis decided to go to war with the Lemurians. And for years, the two mighty civilizations deployed devastating nuclear.
I mean, isn't that the same scenario as like Russia and China and America? That's the same story they're still telling. Right? It's still them, the most powerful territories. Why wouldn't it have happened a million years ago, 100,000 years ago?
Sure.
Why wouldn't
I remember writing a paper once in a class. It was about conflict resolution, and the first line was something like, "Wherever there is, conscious people or civilizations, you will have conflict."
Yeah.
You know, it sounds very pessimistic. I didn't mean it that way, but it just seems to be the case, right?
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Atlantis and Lemuria. According to this person, they had conflict too, just like America and Russia, China, America and China today. Arguably even America, Canada, and Mexico are having a little bit of a spat over tariffs at the moment.
Yeah, and that's the current issues they have. And if you look historically, you can see it. It's in the record, at least our modern day record. You can see all the wars China's been in. Even the infighting just to become what it is crazy. To think about how many people with their philosophies and their mindsets have died for what they believed in, and they never, here's my deal, technically, right, if you're just dead, you never know who won, and you never know if your side was on the right side or the wrong side. All you knew is you were following orders and you believed what your people and your territory told you.
That is very thought-provoking.
They don't
If I died for a belief, how would I know after I'm gone?
How would you know?
We don't, right? That is a thought-provoking. It makes you think.
Yeah.
So
like, say you're with Genghis Khan and you're a savage and you're just out there destroying, and then like, I don't know, maybe you don't think you're the monster, but you really are. You're the apex predator, just slaying and like.
Yeah, right.
And when you die, it's like, that's who I was. That's what I do. And all the people you took out, you snuffed them out. It's a lot of people. Right? It's a lot of people.
Yeah. And some people, if they were brought up, hey, this is what we do. This is our culture. Wipe out the enemy, whatever that means, right? Yeah. And then you die. Perhaps in some cases, people have died never knowing that what they did was, in fact, I would argue, not good.
Yeah. Do evil people when they die think they're evil, right? No, a lot of times they think they're fighting for their cause. And I think it's all I'm trying to say about this compared to this is that it seems like there's been warring for territory on this planet for a long time. And I think above it all, there are the angelic beings. Like the universe has its own like laws, and I think they have their own beings, right? And I think some of even the higher level beings that have fought on our planet aren't them. They're different. Like the orbs and all that stuff. I think that's a very different kind of light-based kind of energy. Then I think there are other races of humanoids out there, like the big whites, the tall whites. He might talk about it. Anyway, I'm digressing. Let's follow him. Let's listen to him.
Their weapons against each other. The explosions were so violent that they caused the Earth's tectonic plates to become unstable and the magnetic poles to shift. Finally, a massive flood tore across the planet and laid waste to both civilizations. In all, 60 million Lemurians died, Atlantis suffered severe losses as well. The few surviving Atlanteans evacuated to Agartha, an underground city that...
That's such a fascinating topic.
Interesting.
The Agartha. Oh my God. I think...
Well,
I do not know about this. This is interesting.
Still
I don't know anything about this.
There's still something in the planet.
The surviving Atlanteans evacuated to Agartha.
There you go. Agartha, yeah. It's basically, and a lot of the old... like the worlds within a world, Norse mythology. A lot of the mythologies have this whole like world within a world thing, and it would make sense. What's probably more safe when the world's like going through a lot of things? It's probably safer to be inside of it than on top of it, right? You would go in it.
Yeah, if you could go inside. I don't know much about Norse mythology or legends either, but I do remember there were I believe I might be confusing things with an anime, so forgive me here. There's several layers or realms or dimensions of sorts, all connected by a tree of life.
Yggdrasil.
Is it?
I think Yggdrasil is the tree.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I could picture the word. I didn't know how to pronounce it.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the video games. Like I played a lot of video games and those types, and that's where I learned a lot of the mythologies. A lot of Japanese games have a ton of it. They have so much.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yeah.
And that's why I kind of know so much about a lot of different things. I think a lot of it has to do from video games and.
Nice.
Yeah, probably.
Nice.
Yeah, and TV and movies and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. I'll admit. Yes, I do my reading, but also video games, anime, manga. I've learned from them too. It's interesting with the mythologies, the legends,
there's some
spins.
Amazing anime out there. It's just so good.
Oh, there is. Yeah, I agree. 100%.
So basically, this is the world within a world. Why wouldn't there be something in the water? We don't even know. Most of our planet isn't land. People forget. I don't know. You walk around land all the time, and you're like, "I'm on land. I'm not." Yeah. You're like, "No. You're on something on top of water." Like,
was it like 2/3, 3/4 of the world of Earth at least is water?
Most of it, yeah.
And we've barely explored most of that ocean.
The depth, yeah, the depth.
Right? Isn't it wild? Like we certainly. I think I have a pretty good handle on what's on the surface, right? I think we've got that down.
Yeah, and
we've seen it from space.
That took a long time. We've not
explored the depths of our oceans.
That took a long time for them to do that. That's just recent. Now they have LiDAR; they can map it even more so.
Yeah.
So let's get back to our man here.
Agartha, an underground city that we'll be covering on this channel. The last remaining Lemurians fled to Mount Shasta and established a city called Telos. And what's amazing is there's a Hawaiian legend that says the islands of Hawaii were once part of a vast continent called Mu, also known as Lemuria. And once J.C. Brown learned of these stories, he was convinced that he had found the lost civilization of Lemuria under Mount Shasta. So he decided, now 30 years later, it was time to go back to the mountain. And when J.C. Brown returned to Mount Shasta, he put together a search party to help him rediscover Lemuria. Brown had assembled a group of 80 researchers, scientists.
This channel is, we'll get back to it. This channel is so good. The Y-Files, it's so well written. He speaks so well. He's such a great talker. And that fish back there hasn't talked yet, but that fish talks a lot of shit, and he's very funny. He's very
funny. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's great.
He hasn't. He'll probably talk because he hasn't talked for a while. Because they usually have jokes that come in to the show.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
And explorers. And after 1,000 years of legend, Lemuria was about to be proven real. Newspapers widely covered the story, and the excitement around the adventure was palpable. Then, on the morning that the expedition was set to begin, J.C. Brown didn't show. People combed every tavern, every street, every inn looking for him, but they would find no trace. J.C. Brown...
Could it be, this is just something I kind of learned by listening to all this stuff. How do I summarize this? So, there are beings that look like humanoids on this planet, and they've been around for a while. They're integrated with us. They're integrated with the government and all. And they're able to control humans in a mental kind of way. And they're able to kind of control their thoughts, the way they think, what their intentions are. So it would make a lot of sense why if someone was an operative within a government that they could kind of get these people quickly, because maybe they can just sense what they're talking about. They already kind of know more about, like they even say that they can manipulate people just by sounds they make, because their natural language isn't English. It's a very more high complex language like Greek. Greek was closer to the old language. Language used to be very powerful, and mind and consciousness, and then one with whatever you're one with, and it gives you like a lot of power. Kind of, I think that's what Christ kind of had. I think he had a lot of this. He was kind of on the other side too. Like if you do a lot of psychedelics and you're a shaman, you're kind of like in both worlds, right? So I think that they're able to. I don't think we're that complex to them. I think we're almost as simplistic to them as we like a hamster is to us. We're like, oh look, it's a hamster, and we have his anatomy all done, and we know. I think we're like that.
I've often thought about that or wondered about that too. To let's say extraterrestrial alien civilizations that might be looking at us. I mean, are we to them what maybe an ant colony is to us as humans? You know, like we'll look at it, oh that's neat, and we sort of move on. I mean, it's not like we're, you know, really that invested in the ants, unless you're into that sort of thing. You know, it's kind of wild. I wonder about that sometimes.
Yeah,
it makes you think. Like
it's kind of funny. Ants get by with humans pretty well. We don't seek to destroy them. As like if a skunk infestation came, you had 100 skunks. People want to go kill all the skunks, but the ants, people are just like, oh well. Just leave the ants alone. Like you don't need to bother the ants.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, true.
They kind of get a pass.
We're not as hopped up in the ants, at least while they're outside. You know, once they start the home invasion, I guess that's another story.
Then they become your enemy. Yeah, but you can't get rid of them. You could kill like 100,000 of them, and there'll be plenty more.
Oh, you know? that
there's
is true.
There's a lot of them guys. So like, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I think that there's a lot more advanced things going on. And I think the curtain is getting pulled back. You could just see even today that Elon Musk was like looking at the banking of America, the way it like.
Oh yeah,
you probably saw that.
Got into the U.S. Treasury, its payments, and the U.S. Agency for International Development, supposedly.
Seeing the actual like path.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Like, I saw one thing. I know I'm digressing, but I don't care. I saw a thing today with it was on like CNBC or more the left's perspective. They were just like, well, nobody should look at that. It's fine the way it is. And I'm like, well, maybe somebody should once in a while look at it, right? Don't just say like, we got this covered. All this tax dollars, these trillions. Nah, there's no need to look. We're fine. I'm like, you know, let's take a look.
True.
Let's see what you're doing.
Should be some degree of oversight.
No,
I mean,
we're
do
fine.
We have to fine tooth comb everything?
Yeah, oversight.
No, but yeah, some kind of oversight. And I'm a bit surprised by what oversight did not exist in certain respects, if these stories are to be believed.
I don't think there was any oversight that would allow anybody other than who's involved. Like they weren't letting civilians in there. There's none of that. None of that. Yeah. Just like this guy who tried to go to Mount Shasta and he disappeared. That's what they do to you.
Oh yeah, the gentleman that he just mentioned.
If you got the CIA, the FBI,
what the heck?
The DOJ, if they're all after you, like you don't pay your credit cards and they're already after you. What is that like when the rest of the squad's after you? You know?
So it's not safe to say that this archaeologist, this person about to lead the expedition that morning didn't just get cold feet.
Had vanished.
Vanished.
Was never heard from again.
I mean, what the heck?
Sightings are accelerating. Of the top 300 UFO hotspots in the world, Mount Shasta is ranked 13th. People have seen chrome objects hovering above dark mountain roads. Others report lights moving in formation, silently swarming the peak, and then disappear. One of the most widely reported UFO sightings happened in 2008. Residents said they saw what looked like a giant glowing jellyfish hovering over the mountain. Eyewitnesses said it made no noise, but it seemed to have a fire raging inside of it. Now, unfortunately, there are no photos from this sighting, but just last year, someone captured this footage.
This happened. I'm sorry.
What is that?
There's a passenger on the plane, looks out the window, grabs the phone. This was filmed in June. The traveler sees that, an object apparently changing shapes in seconds.
And what makes Mount Shasta...
That's the kind of stuff that's been flying around New Jersey. They were chasing those things.
That is very weird,
The orbs, that's some of what the drones were chasing.
Whoa, what is that? Yeah.
UFO is really strange is that they don't just hover around the mountain. People have seen them fly into the mountain.
Yeah.
And they don't mean they flew into an opening in the mountain.
I'll just put my tinfoil hat on real quick. This is what I think.
Yeah.
I think that those crafts are able to change time and space. And I think that our world is just merely like a paper, right? Say you fold the paper over and there's all that's in the middle of the paper. And then, you think this is infinity. And then like the wormhole thing, it's goes on top of it, but you still have everything in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're able to not only go quick, I think they can just like break the laws of physics, where if you hit something, it doesn't destroy your ship. I think it can probably do something like that.
I see. Yeah,
like not be a full solid tangible thing. It can be like I think it deals more with like it becomes spirit or almost like energy, and it can just pass through things and then get where it needs to go.
If there's something, and you know, in my case, not being a physicist of any note at all, if there are ways to, if there are understandings of the laws of physics that say a highly advanced civilization might have that we don't yet, they might know how to, as you said, maybe transform what appears a solid object into a kind of energy that passes through another solid without causing any damage to either one.
Yeah.
That would be wild if some kind of quantum movement. I'm not even sure if I'm using the right terms for it.
It has something
to
do
really something, man.
with the gravitational pull. I think it has a lot to do with energy, like subatomic particle energy, and then it has a lot to do with consciousness, because I think those crafts are like drones too, but they can be used like with their mind almost. They're real. They're real. We're gonna see a lot more of them. We have just this past summer. I'm seeing drones out my backyard, and like there's definitely something that happened.
Oh yeah.
And historically, if you look, they're in the record all the time. These crafts, they're in the paintings. People,
they do. Yeah, there
people
are like
come to them.
Air Force pilots who've talked about seeing things, and I don't think they're just seeing things, right? I mean, maybe, but they're seeing something.
Yeah.
What it is, we don't know. It's the
so this is actually
unidentified nature of the flying objects, but yeah.
That this is Mount Shasta right here.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, this is actually.
Oh, there we go. We're making the climb there. All right. Oh, it's pretty.
Yeah, can be.
Nice.
There's a lot of people the natives from around there who just, if you talk to them, they're like 100%. They'll say, "We come from the stars. We are star people." And it's like generations later of the word.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, they don't even like second guess it. They're like, "Oh no, we're star people. We are star people."
You know, it's not entirely off to say. I mean, we are made of the same stuff that composes stars.
Well,
I mean, kind of, in a physical sense.
It is true. It is true.
We are, in a way, made of stardust, and that on its own is just fascinating. Now imagine these stories being true. That's really, really interesting. Like
a giant skull, old ladders, and ancient beings. Okay. The other thing, since we're on this topic, I have to say, if humans are skin and bones, like when you like scrape your arm against something and you bleed.
Yeah.
How in the world could people live down there without, like, their skin would have to be so hard, which is probably more like reptilian. You would need a tougher, more durable skin.
I wonder, they could have evolved. I mean, I imagine it as a human, even, I mean, if we were in the dark for all that time, even as some animals, they've evolved such a thing like, improved eyesight in extremely low lighting or stronger skin to avoid. I mean, I don't know that I would last very long.
What happens if you're in there
myself.
And you twist your leg and you break your leg? You're done.
It's over. At least as we are now, it's over.
Yeah, I often get this thought, and I'll just say it. I don't even know how you and I are here today. I don't even know how our people have survived through all of it, so we could be here alive and present and talking. Because if you really think about it, how many people did something to make us amongst all this?
It's true.
I don't get it.
It's true. I
don't get it. Like, who is my great grandfather? Who is he? What did he do? What did he think about when he woke up in the morning?
He survived.
He survived
to
have a child.
His girlfriend or his wife or whatever at the time. They had a child.
Child had to live.
That child met somebody.
Had to live.
That child had to survive.
Yeah, that's
the child's mate had to survive. They met each other, and on down the line.
That's the biggest
one. What was that
one.
math equation? It's like 1 in 400 trillion chance that you and I, or that one of us is in this world as we know ourselves today.
Yeah.
It's just so infinitesimally small. It's amazing. It's a real mind bender.
Yeah.
That one.
these videos, they are really cool when we're recording them like this. But then I'll see this video again because I like to like edit and look at what I've done, and it becomes weird. It becomes like this little like fragment of time, right? Like of you being here, me being here, and this conversation becomes like something more than it was before. And I'll see it, and I'm like, oh my God, that was 3 years ago. And I'll see it, I'm like, oh, that was 1 year ago.
Right?
And it's like, they're almost like, they're cool when I see them later. I don't know, it's nice. Like that.
It's fun to watch these later on.
Like the conversation was alive enough to be said out loud and talked about and is there, you know?
Yeah.
And the wonder.
Think about these issues too, even these ideas. They might seem out there to a lot of people. I think.
Yeah, it's every time I get into this topic, I always get a sense of wonder for sure.
Yeah, oh for sure. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I'm like, what if? And then the one day I'm like, well, what if you're right? And then like, I don't know, like the beans come back down, and then the roads are on fire. We keep seeing.
I just hope they're friendly enough to. Please don't do the magnifying glass thing. As some humans do with ants. That's all I ask.
We've had some planes crashes recently, and that causes so much of a problem. What would something super horrific be like? It'd be you wouldn't even know. Awesome. You would just wake up and go to your neighbors like, what happened? Why is there no electricity? Why is the military? Well, you wouldn't. It would be overnight. It would be. You'd be in a different world than you were before.
I remember on a very rare occasion. This only ever happened once to me. The power went out in the entire several blocks in my city, and I couldn't believe it. Like I came into my building, it was pitch black.
Wow.
There's no reserve power, at least at the moment. So, I took my phone and flashlight, walked up the stairs to my flat, and, made it in safely and everything. It was complete. There's no power anywhere for blocks.
How long?
It was very strange. I'm going to say this lasted for about maybe 2.5 hours.
Oh, that's it. Wow, that's
maybe.
Good.
Yeah, it wasn't very long, but it was kind of strange and eerie when it happened. Because, like, this never...
Sure.
I mean, of course, it could happen, right? But it never did, at least not while I was living here.
Yeah, if the lights stayed out for a month, that place would probably be people would start stealing and looting. I know how people in America are. I know how they are. We
tend to be a little right. The greed, the fear start taking over. Fear and greed, right? Those. I've gotten myself out of situations appearing just a little crazier than my opponent, let's say.
Yeah.
And without necessarily being violent or anything like that, he thinks I'm going to do something crazier than him.
Yeah.
And then there's that, all that's required, and this is a delicate balancing act, is that seed of doubt, let's say, in his head, that I'm sane.
What'd you say, man? What?
Yeah, exactly, right? Who is that?
I've had to get, I call it getting firm. I've had to get firm with people. I enjoy it. It's fine. It's great. Yeah. It's usually over quick once you kind of just stand your ground. Usually
it's good. I think it's healthy to be assertive at times.
Very.
Stand up for yourself and not let anyone come at you without a little pushback.
Yeah, I should have pushed back a lot more in my early 20s. I was very you kind of have to be though, because you want to get money and you need to get paid and.
Yeah. When I was younger, I was a lot more submissive to people and thinking that was what it took to be liked. And then I realized, no, it's actually interestingly quite the opposite. The ones who mind don't matter, and the ones who matter don't mind. I can be myself, or at least my best version of myself, sure. And the people who like me will like me, and those who don't, hey, look, it's okay. It's not personal in that sense. I can't be everybody's cup of tea. Or coffee.
And then, sometimes they're just like, I don't like you. And you're like, I don't like you either.
Yeah, that's right.
I was looking for a reason. All right. Got a little sidetracked there, but I enjoyed that very much.
Me too.
That was a lot of fun. I love how we talk about a mountain and then, we end up. That's why I like my show. It's fine. That's great. This is the way conversation actually works. This is what people do. They communicate.
Metabullet.
Can't forget about it.